My brothers-in-law cut the chain on my mountain cabin gate with an angle grinder, busted inside, and got arrested on my property. 5 minutes later, my sisters were sobbing into my mom's phone, demanding I drop the charges. The funniest part? They'd been calling it the family cabin for years. It was never theirs, it was mine. It started at one of my parents' backyard pool parties. My wife and I are child-free, and my 2 older sisters treat that like a crime. They drink, their husbands hype them up, and their kids run around like tiny drunk lawyers. We only went because my mom guilted my wife, and I didn't want to leave her alone with them. The kids decided pushing people into the pool was the entertainment. They shoved a guest near the steps and giggled when she got soaked and left. Then I saw 3 of them sprinting at me like a coordinated hit. I sidestepped. All 3 launched straight into the deep end. Everyone laughed for 2 seconds. Then my sisters started screaming that their kids couldn't swim, and it was my job to get shoved in. Their husbands joined in, red-faced and sloppy. "You almost drowned my kid. You owe us new phones." One brother-in-law tried to dive for the iPhones and face-planted instead. My wife grabbed my arm and we left. That night, they went full group text psycho. My parents forced an apology the next day, and I thought it was over. Then a brother-in-law texted, "The phones cost $1. When are you paying?" I replied, "Never." Blocked all 4 of them and felt my blood pressure drop. That's when my dad finally snapped. He banned my sisters' families from my parents' house for a while. He also banned them from the mountain place, and he told them the detail that made them short-circuit. My wife and I owned it, and we'd bought it for my parents to enjoy, quietly, because my sisters get weirdly competitive about money. 2 days later, my oldest sister confessed why they were panicking. She'd been renting the cabin out behind everyone's back and pocketing the cash. The other sister knew. My parents didn't, and apparently they were deep in debt, leasing big, look-at-me cars, and counting on my parents to bail them out like a retirement plan. So my sisters showed up at my house unannounced and sat on my couch like debt collectors. They said I needed to step up, give them access again, and plan on paying for the kids' college. I stared at them and said, "You stole from us and you want a scholarship too? Get out." After that, the husbands called me separately like it was some kind of negotiation. One threatened, "I'll rip that gate out of the ground." I told him, "Touch my property and you'll meet the sheriff." They laughed like I was bluffing. I locked the gate. I changed every code. I installed cameras and no trespassing signs. I hired a local guy to check the place. I figured the message was clear. It wasn't. The Friday after Thanksgiving, my phone pinged with camera alerts. Headlights rolled up to the gate. Then sparks flared in the dark. The grinder screamed like a dying engine. The chain snapped and hit the gravel. Next, the front door shook under their hands. The lock shrieked, metal grinding on metal, wood splintered in thin, sharp strips. Then everything went quiet for a beat. Then the door opened from the inside. A deputy stepped onto my porch. Then another. My property guy stood behind them, calm and still. My brothers-in-law froze mid-stride like someone hit pause. The deputy said, "Hands where I can see them." One of them snapped, "This is family property." The deputy said, "Not today." They started yelling. Then they started threatening me, out loud, in front of cops. Click, cuffs. My sisters tried to spin it as a misunderstanding. I told my parents. They broke in. They pay. I'm not protecting them from consequences. My mom cried. My dad sounded exhausted. I didn't budge. A week later, a courier dropped an envelope at my office. Inside was a cashier's check and a signed apology from both brothers-in-law. They admitted everything and offered to pay for the damage. Suddenly, they were very interested in making things right. My lawyer turned it into a settlement with a strict no-contact clause. The repairs got paid. The DA dropped most of the charges, but they still had to plead guilty to trespassing and eat the fines. One of them has a security clearance, so I'm sure that was a fun meeting. Now my sisters keep calling from new numbers like it's a hobby. We keep blocking. The cabin has new locks, cameras, and 0 welcome mats for family. And I sleep great knowing the only key that matters is mine.